and welcome to Chanakya English. Today, yet another day with the discussion that we've started earlier. We are having Jayasree Saranathan, madam, a researcher and who's done a PhD in astrology. Very warm welcome to Chanakya English again, ma'am. You're not new to our viewers. Thank you so much for taking time and talking to us. Thank you. Welcome to Chanakya.
Namaste.
Namaste. Mahabharata dating was something that nobody has ventured. Now, following that, you've come to Ramayana 5114 BCE, and the number has triggered a lot of noise among astikas, among people belonging to Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, and I would say common people as well. I would like to first ask you, uh, how did you arrive at this state? I mean, you don't have to be elaborate. I know it's a research that you've done, but for common public to
Yes.
understand, if you can elaborate few words on how you came to this number, it
Certainly.
will be very useful.
Yes. See, Valmiki is giving a set of planetary Panchanga features. Lot of even Mahabharata in Ramayana also. Particularly for the birth of Rama, complete detail with which you can construct an horoscope. He is given like that. So I constructed a horoscope long ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. But the problem was the tithi did not match. Just one tithi less. It was Ashtami. Then only, actually, this problem was already noted by Western scholars like Data Coach, Coin Rodales. When we were in an email group some 10 years ago, this was raised, discussed very well because this combination, like Rama's birth star Punarvasu and then Shukla Navami, they can combine only in Panguni Masa, that is in Pisces, not in Mesha Masa. But as per what Valmiki has said, it would have joined it joined in Mesha Masa when Sun was in Mesha. Even this year also, Sun was in Mesha, but these two didn't join. It was in Sashti. It never happens. Like when we do a calculation, we know that calculation I have put in my book and also in my blog. That is there. And then
Mm.
what happened after that? Only I started doing the Mahabharata dating because other people were confused with what is Kali Yuga. So at that time, because I was very sure about Kali Yuga date, so I did that because 35 years before Kali Yuga, Mahabharata war happened. That is what Mahabharata itself says. So I was able to simulate it. At that time only, I found out there was a loss of Tithi. There was a loss of Tithi. You would have heard about a story in Karnan cinema, where the Panchanga, like Duryodhana will come to Sahadeva and then get the time for starting the war. And he would have told Amavasya is good. Then after he had gone with
Mm.
that consultation, Pandavas were very worried, and then they approached Krishna. See, it seems the Kauravas are going to win because they have been given the, auspicious time by our own Pandava brother. He could
Mm.
not refuse because being an astrologer, he could not refuse. So Karna did at that, Krishna did at that time, he started doing Tarpana. That is how this story will come. And then when he started doing Tarpana, even before Amavasya had come, everybody was shocked. Even sun and the moon arrived there and then told, what Krishna you are doing Amavasya? Today is not Amavasya. Krishna asked, what does Amavasya mean? When the sun and the moon join, you are joined here. So that is Amavasya. That is a story we think.
Yeah.
But the same idea is there in Mahabharata, told by Vyasa. He says, I have never, I know sometimes Amavasya will come on 15th Tithi or 16th Tithi, but I have never known that it will come on the 13th Tithi. Na abhijnanami trayodashim Amavasya. This is what he says. That is, Triyodashi is a Tithi, that is a Pradosha Kalam. On the day of Pradosha, Amavasya had come. So that is immortalized into a story. That is the beginning point of my resolving the conflict,
Mm.
which even other scientists, actually scientists were involved in that, saying that it refers to the Trayodasha, that is 13-day Amavasya. It is not 13-day, it is 13 Tithi, Trayodashi, not Trayodasha. So when that was solved, I understood that one Tithi was lost. Because of that reason, at that time, that some cosmic trouble had happened, and a comet has hit the Earth and the Moon, and because of that, the revolution time period has changed. That is why Uttarayana came very late. That is why
Mm.
even though Bhishma, who was an adept in finding out the time, when he felt that, thinking that Uttarayana has come, he realized that Uttarayana had not yet come, and then he had to wait on the arrow bed for 56 days. Why should he? Unless, because he was such an expert in astronomy and astrology. It's because that unexpected change in time had happened, and that resulted in a change of one tithi. So, whatever day is coming after that, we are having that whatever happened right from that time. But before that, one tithi less will be there. Why? See how we are calculating past. We are doing mathematically only. Initially, mathematical is done and it's being fed into the simulators. We have Jyotisha simulators, even astronomy simulators, both. I use Jyotisha simulator. So, because in Jyotisha simulator only you have Tithi, Nakshatra, all that, or yeah, they are demarcated. Whereas in the astronomy simulator, they are not demarcated. So, when we are seeing the present Tithi Nakshatra combination only is taken to the past, beyond Mahabharata, even Krishna's state, and then Rama's state. So, in Rama's state, one Tithi will be missed. Nobody in India had recognized it, including Yereshwar, who has written this book. They could not recognize unless you have the knowledge of astrology and the change of how the Tithi and Nakshatra are joining, whether they are matching with that. So when I have found out, I was able to, decipher it. After Mahabharata, decipherment only, I could come to Ramayana decipherment. And that also, I should say, it's all divine. In the sense, I was trying to continue. Somehow it was getting delayed. And then they asked me to, Kanchipat people asked me to, date Adishankara. And that also I was telling, I was not, I have no idea about Adishankara life history. They sent all details. And then one fine day it occurred to me, probably I have to finish Adishankara also as a Rishikadan. Because for Madhvas, I have done in Mahabharata. In Mahabharata, Janamejaya inscription I solved, which nobody could do. And that belonged to the Madhva Mat. That is the Adi Mat, where Pandavas stayed during Vanvasa, and there the ascetics had continued. Now they are the Madhvas. In that place only, Madhvacharya took his Diksha. So they want to call it as an Adi Mat. So I have given the proof for them. From Ramanuja Itihasa, I have given the proof, or I have established Ramanuja's date and solved all the issues in that. So second Acharya over. Now Adishankara also. The moment I finished, in 2 weeks I finished. And then the other peripheral things, what other scholars have said, and what are the problems they are bringing out. And I solved all that. And then I printed, and then I sent a bunch of books to them. The very next day, I got a call from Sri Dushyant Sridhar asking me whether he has been asking me for a long time whether I have finished or not. I have finished or not. Then that was a call for me. See, God doesn't come to you directly and then tell you, but He will come in some rupa, in some way, to give a trigger to do that. Then I started doing, and we consulted each other, like looking at the commentaries, because I tell you, people are shouting like why we are doing. Most of the commentators, olden commentators, for nearly 1,000 years we have all those names. Dushyant Sridhar has written Tattva of Maheshwara Tirtha, Bhushana of Govindaraja, Dharmakota of all this. Even actually, I don't know that he only follows some six commentators or so. Apart from that, several, the 2 to 3 pages of preface is full of the books and the different Ramayanas, and then different commentaries, all that he has followed. And then at that time only, we are finding that even the older commentators have recorded all these dates and tithis. Please know that. Because when Valmiki says in Chaitra Masa it had happened, we are the Shukla Pancham, Shukla Navami. From there, we are just, see, Ramayana is movement of Rama. In the same way, time also moves in that. So at every stage, when he is going to the with Vishwamitra, we are able to get it. And then when he reaches Mithila, he is giving that, Tithi or something. At that time is an Amavasya, while they are starting from Mithila, first day, that is 10 days they were in Vishwamitra's. That is that they traveled and stayed in Vishwamitra's ashrama for 6 days, guarding the rituals. On the 10th day, by 10 days it was all over. 11th day, they started, all the rishis started for Mithila, saying there is a yajna being done by Janaka. Rama and Lakshmana also joined. So I am day by day I am calculating. So one first day, Tamasa River, okay. Second day here, third day here, third day here. What is the Tithi? Like this. Then I just compare with the simulator. See, simulators are used particularly. See, this is not like a Western simulator. In Western simulator, in stellarium or planetarium, you just look at the planets and then you arrive at it. Here it is not though. We know the like a horoscope. I produced the horoscope of Rama. So people are coming with horoscopes, Then we see the Dasa Bhakti. Actually, even I have given the Dasa Bhakti. So we are like in his 10th year, 12th year, at the time where what are the planets, what are planetary combinations, what is the nakshatra, what is the tithi, all that. So step by step when we are going, then his marriage time comes. Even before that, when Mithila, I'm coming to Mithila, starting to Mithila, that Tithi and also is coming. What happened the second day, that is on the 11th day they start, 12th day it is said, after traveling for half a day, they halted at Ganga. Ganga, they have reached the Ganga. All the rishis started doing tarpan and then doing oblations to Pitrus and also for the deities. That day,
Madam,
the rest of the day, yes, that is Amavasya. That must be Amavasya.
sorry, I have a
What?
question. Sorry to cut you. But just to summarize what you've said, in short, you are calculating the birth of Rama based on the astrological evidences and details laid
Yes,
out by Valmiki
Valmiki.
himself in
Yes,
Ramayana.
Valmiki Ramayana in the Balakanda, 18th chapter. It
Yeah,
is being
so
given.
it is not something that you have derived based on
Nothing.
non unrelated scientific facts,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no, but I have a question here. In Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, I've talked
Mm.
to a couple of friends. They have told me this one important point, that in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, Sharanagati is the ultimate point that is being focused on, and astrological factors are not part. In fact, I spoke to few friends and to some scholars as well, or to but what I'm seeing is astrology is not very popular in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. So dating epic as such as Ramayana based on astrology, um, how does that
What
match,
about
ma'am?
Ramanuja? Ramanuja has an horoscope. Ramanuja's birth details are also given in Guru Parampara and then in the contemporary texts. And by that, we have produced a horoscope of Ramanuja, the date, time, even the lagna, everything is given. Don't say that as maybe today some people have developed that idea. The idea of not depending on astrology if for Vaishnava is this, we are bound to whatever it is you surrender to God, He will take care. So don't worry about whether to do this parihara or that parihara. That is
Okay,
the concept.
Sharanagati.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is the concept. Whereas it's not that people don't have the horoscope at all. When Ramanuja himself has an horoscope, when Guru Paramparas have given the details of the horoscope of Ramanuja, then how this will go hold water? People are in some kind of wrong, illusory, imaginary opinion only that horoscope should not be written. When Ramanuja himself has, and then they talk about even in one thing in Prapannamrita, Prapannamritam, there is one book, Sri Vaishnavi's book. There, the discussion is there about the marriage of Parashara's son or something. I don't exactly remember. They are talking about like they are in this. They were Advaitins. They are in this thing, in this sect. But this is okay. And then the star is like this. This is okay. They go with that. See, always the marriage was being done by the star basis. In Ramayana itself, I was telling this Amavasya thing. I'll finish that. Actually, I didn't finish that because this one tithi we are adding just to one tithi because there is one tithi less. So whatever the simulator shows, I would use to add one tithi. So by that, when I am coming to this Amavasya day, it should show Amavasya for me in my reckoning. It showed. So the simulator will show Chadurdasi, but I have to add one tithi. Exactly, it is showing that it was an Amavasya and they are doing the oblations.
Ma'am,
So
how
that
did
is
you come
proof
to the
for me.
conclusion that one Tidi was left out? Can you
It is
explain
in
that part
Mahabharata.
again?
In Mahabharata, it happens. I have explained that also. In
No,
Mahabharata period, one tithi is less. One tithi,
no, that
this problem
Mahabharata is after
it
Ramayana,
became
correct?
Saptami became, that is Shashti became Saptami. That is Krishna Shashti became Saptami. I watched,
No,
I waited in Kritika Masa. They were all
ma'am,
watching.
Mahabharata is after Ramayana, correct?
Yes, yes. That is why I say, like, from the Mahabharata time, we have whatever combination that happened at that time, we continue to have till now. But when we go back in time, we extrapolate, right? We can extrapolate even the astrological factors like
And on what basis you found that in during the Ramayana period one Tithi was left? What is that
because
basis?
all the combinations are there. Like whatever Ravi Valmiki says, even today, we are not able to get the match in the, I mean, Meshamasa. How many of us know? Tell me.
So
Only
based on
because
what Valmiki, just
no,
for understanding of the
I tell
viewers,
you, in Surya
mm,
Tilak they are planning. They have planned Surya Tilak in Ram Janmabhoomi for 19 years only. Once again, even then also, they have to calculate for every year, because in some years it happens, that is when sun is in Pisces. In some years when sun is in Mesha, only in Pisces, this Ashtami, that is Shukla Navami and Punarvasu join, not in Mesha at all. How that is explained in this? Like we will do Amavasya. If Amavasya happens in Puratadi, and then the next day the month starts. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, ninth tithi. At what nakshatra we can calculate, because we know the traveling distance. That is at what speed the sun travels. We know at what speed the moon travels. Based on that, figure also I have given my. Actually, this is there in my blog also, where I have. I mean, shown this how this difference is coming. So today, another thing I tell you, this sthiti and a particular tithi and nakshatra every month they will join, but they will join in a particular way, like Navami and Punarvasu. Then
mm,
after next month, it will be two tithis away. Navami means next Dasami and Ekadasi, then next nakshatra. Ekadasi and next nakshatra, like that only the next month it will go based on the moon's movement. And see, to explain you this, I have to start from the beginning, but in the book and in my blog, I have explained with the table and everything. So, what happens in certain months only it can happen. In Mesha, one combination. In in Taurus, one combination. Rishabha, one combination. So like that it goes. But today, this combination happens only in Panguni, in Pisces. So that is why the astrologer K. N. Rao, very famous astrologer K. N. Rao, he said why it is happening. Probably Rama's, sun was in Pisces only, but he has got five planets in the exaltation. That means sun also, only when sun is in the exaltation, Saturn also in the exaltation, they are just opposite to each other. Uchanai Uchan Parkil Nicham. That is the astrological prediction. That means either the sun represents monarchy, the crown, whereas the Saturn represents people. So at some time in his life, Rama could not get power. He could not get crowned. He was about to be crowned, but he lost it. That's because of that. And later, when Saturn is the public were not, conducive to him. They talked ill of his wife Sita, so he has to abandon his wife. So this exact opposition shows, it reiterates the kind of events in Rama's life. See, this is how we, cross check. I tell you one thing, another thing. Actually, I learned astrology from my background, from my family only. My paternal grandfather, Karyur Bashima. Actually, we were not professionals, like we don't charge and all that. Only when people have problem, we say that. So my grandfather also used to say like that. But that knowledge he was trying to tell people, come children, we grandchildren, and I showed interest even as early as my 12th year. So first thing they teach us is with the Rama Jataka. They will have the Rama Jataka. They will show it is here, it is here. So this is in an enemies place, and it is a friendly place, and this is in the opposition. So this is affected. Because of this, he lost. Because of this, he gained. Because of this, the wife was lost. So this kind of things are being taught. only with Ramachataka. So what they taught at home, we knew,
But if astrology is deciding the life of an avatara like Rama,
oh,
it is
one
it
minute,
is
one
it
month.
is going against the sampradaya,
Never,
is what
never
many people
Rama
say.
says, it's a Manushya Avatara. I am Manusham, I am Manishan, I am a
Correct,
Manushya.
correct.
He is
Manushya
uh,
plus avatara.
and another avatar. Why when do you say an avatar? That is also given in Valmiki Ramayana in the words of Mandodari. When Rama crossed the seas and then came to Lanka, Mandodari cautioned Ravana, saying that I told you already that Rama is not an ordinary person. An ordinary person cannot build a bridge across the sea and then come. He was able to do that. So that is why what an ordinary person cannot do, he becomes an avatar. So Vayyattul Valvangu Valbavan Vanurayum Devatul Vekapadum. Please remember, our Sanatana Dharma does not just give a mythical or some extraordinary superhuman things to our gods. Practical. And Ramavatara was he was an embodiment of dharma to show how man should live. He has cried at so many places. I am documenting all that. This is a shorter version only, which I distributed to scholars and then people interested like Dr. Mr. Gurumurthy and our Chief Justice Mahadevan, and then some other scholars, because Mahadevan was so good at Tamil, and then he was so fluent in this knowledge. The way he talks. When I found him talk in one meeting, I was just dumbstruck. Then I thought that he's the right person to review this and then read this. I've given him and asking him to review it or read it and give his opinion. I am awaiting his opinion. This one, in this, I have solved 10 issues plus updating. Whereas in the upcoming one, that is what I am saying, whatever issues are there, like Rama cries like an ordinary person. One example they'll tell you, they have left for forest.
So are you debating on the Dasavadara concept that was
No,
stated
no,
that
I am not
Rama
talking
was a
about the Dharma.
reincarnation? No, he's a reincarnation of Vishnu.
I don't go into that at all. What Valmiki says, my thing is the issues like why 11,000 years, and then what is the language? I mean, Hanuman and Sita spoke, and then what about Ahalya Shapa? When you are reading that, it is a metaphor, ma'am. You read Valmiki. Valmiki doesn't give it as a kind of a she turning into a.
Ma'am, I was about to come to the next questions, but I'll just let you complete your astrological thing, and then probably I'll take up the questions
Yeah.
one by one, so
Yeah,
viewers
yeah.
will be
It is
interested.
at every stage we are finding. Then at the time of marriage, they are giving the time, like morning Puram and then afternoon Utram. So, and also the marriage, I mean, how many years they were together? Twice it is being told in the Ramayana itself. So, in those places at all, I tell you, even our Purvacharyas have written that. But I tell you, even there are discriminations. Like, not all Purvacharyas say the same thing, because Valmiki gives information at certain places he doesn't give. For example, Valmiki gives that he has gone to Chitrakuta. Until Chitrakuta, you are able to trace day by day. On the day he constructed the Parnashala and then slept there, on the same night, he had Dasharatha died. So then after that, what happened? And all that we are able to, because he is giving the days, so many days it happened. That is, the travelers went for so many days. Bharata took so many days to come back. And then on the next day, they did the cremation for Dasharatha. So all these day by day, you can see in my blog, day by day, we are able to trace. But what happens after coming to Chitrakuta? That particular day when Bharata comes along with the mothers and other people to ask him to come back, to persuade him to come back, Rama did the Pitru Karyam. Normally, it will happen only on the first Tithi. So that is also when we are coming to that, exactly that is the first Tithi. That when we are doing that, so it is within the Ramayana itself. There are cross checks and balances, and then what happens? He refuses to go, and then and by then, but evening comes, so we don't know whether they stayed there because it's a forested area or the people have left. That Valmiki doesn't say. So there is a every possibility, since the women folk are also there. Naturally, the mothers will be very. attached to Rama and Sita, they would have liked to stay with them. That could have happened, but Valmiki doesn't say that. So I would have just said, and then they could have left. That is because that's a very important point there, because he is taking back the Paduka. Taking back the Paduka when is a question. That date is a question. So whether on the same day or in the next day he would have taken. That said, the next immediately after that, Valmiki is saying they didn't continue to stay in Chitrakuta for long because the demons and others were there, and rishis also started moving out. Without the rishis, they didn't want to stay there, so they also moved out. So when did they move out? It was not told. So at that time only we consult the once again the commentaries. This is a book written thousand, I mean 100 years ago. That is 1923 by A.V. Narasimhachari. Normally these commentators, they used to produce what the commentators have given about the time that when they left. They are also giving. So it's not that I am giving. The only difference is I am also giving in the Gregorian date. Because when I say it in the Gregorian date, people will be able to connect with it. When I just say on Chitra Baksha, so Shukla on Chitra Madam Shukla Baksham Panchami Endre Raman Aranyatrika Chandran. So what is Chitra? Chitra Masam, Shukla Baksham Panchami, which year? That question will come. So, but we are tracing right from the time of his birth, this horoscope. So we are able to get the date, and we are also able to get the year name. Now, Krodi is running. It was Prabhava during his time. So this particular one says this is by Govinda Raja. Govindarajiyam. From Govindarajiyam, this author has taken the time concepts. Like he is totally from here, he is continuously he is telling right from the time Rama left on this day, on this Panchami or is in Sashti, he left here. From there, he says when he says that Chitrakuta place. When he talks about Chitrakuta, Svaigasi Madam, Krishnapaksham Panchami என்று ராமன் சித்திரகூடத்திலிருந்து புறப்பட்டு அத்ரி மகரிஷியின் ஆசிரமத்திற்கு சென்றார். That is in Vaikasi. In Chitra, he was exiled. In Vaikashi, in
Ma'am,
Vaikashi,
all these are giving Tithi
only
and month, not
one.
year.
Yeah, not yet. That's what. Wait, I'll come to that. The problem, I'll tell you one problem that we faced.
Mm.
Govindarajayam says in Vaikashi Masam, he left Chitrakuta. Whereas there is another commentary by Tilaka. That by Tilaka, he says in Kartika Masam, this is by Tilaka. This is by Tilaka. This is from Ramabirane Karpo, where a recently written book by Deshikacha, Andavan Ashram. There he is quoting Tilaka. Here the Tilaka's, he is 1,000 year old probably. And here he says, since it was Marikalam, since it was rainy season, Raman stayed in Chitrakuta, and at the end of the rainy season in Kartika Masam, he left. So we have two ancient commentators. Govindaraja saying he left Chitrakuta in Vaikashi. Tilaka saying he left in Kartika Masa. Valmiki not saying anything at all. So they own their own derivation. But I don't do that. I don't do my own derivation. I just simply leave it at that. I simply say Valmiki doesn't give any information about when he left. So what is the next date? So from there he has left. At what time we don't know, because after the 10 years they were just moving here and there. Then
So
in the
what
11th,
you are trying to do is not assuming any dates, but you
yeah,
are just picking. If there is no connectivity on the next date, you are waiting for the next day to appear in Valmiki Ramayana.
I'm checking the commentators also, and I am bringing to your notice even the commentators, open commentators, are not unanimous in their opinion. So you are blaming me, but what about those commentaries?
No,
Why
it's
they are
not about
different?
it's not about any
Why?
blame or anything. We are talking for
Yeah.
informative purposes,
Sorry,
ma'am.
but one thing I'll tell you: the commentaries itself differ. It's not my job when I'm doing the dating to say Tiraka said this, Govindaraja said this. My focus is only on what Vyasa said. I mean, Valmiki said. I just focused on what Valmiki said. But these things, Upanyasakas can take and then say. That is what giving the story when they left or something. Actually, Tilaka had taken that liberty to say that it is Kartika Masam because normally during the rainy season they used to stay in one place. Particularly at that time, that is after Vaigashi, Ani Masam, Chaturmasya Viradam comes. Later, in Kishkinda Gandam, Rama says about this Chaturmasya Vratam. And this is the time of Chaturmasya Vratam when Yoga Nidra, that is Vishnu goes into Yoga Nidra, and Bharata must be conducting your Chaturmasya Vratam. So when he says that, we assume that Rama also would have stayed there. Another thing, in the forest, they cannot be moving around when there is rainfall. So he has taken that as the justification for that, and then he has given that. Whereas Govinda Raja had just said immediately he has left, because Valmiki says immediately they left. They didn't stay for long. So what I'm coming to tell you is, even the commentators who are giving the dates, the only difference is they don't say the Gregorian date. They don't say the Gregorian date, but they also say everything. So when we take the birth time date, I mean the combinations,
No,
the
none of the commentators so far that you have quoted have talked about years, not just Gregorian years. Any
uh,
even the old years, like
that
nobody
nobody
has
said,
said any yuga
nobody
or
said,
date or anything. They
no,
only
that,
talked about this month
yes,
and
because
seasons and
Valmiki
everything.
doesn't talk about any yuga. Valmiki doesn't say this is this yuga or that yuga. Nothing like that in Valmiki Ramayana. No way. But only one place that yuga talk comes in the Uttarakanda at the time of Shambhugavada, when one child has died in Alpais. Then it should not happen in Treta Yuga when a dharmic king was there. So Rama called all the rishis to have a discussion of what to do, why this has happened. At the time, Narada says, in the current Dharma Yuga, that is in Treta Yuga, we will be doing yajna. For every yuga, no, there is some kind of qualities, yuga dharma. That yuga dharma is there in the Vaishnavite literature of Acharya Hridayam, in the first Prakranam, in the 16th Churna. The yuga, this yuga dharma is given us in the first. I think they will do this in the Treta Yuga yajnam, and then in the Dwapara Yuga archanam, and in Kali Yuga only Nama Sankirtanam. So at that time they have to do yajnam. Somebody is doing yajnam which they should not do. That is how
No,
they identify
I
Sri
will.
Yuga.
I'll come to the yuga. So far, what you've told us is your astronomical or astrological findings about how you dated Rama. But now let me start with some questions, basic questions that both Astikas are asking, and people who believe in Rama, who believe in Ramayana, are also asking. Scholars and people who do upanyasams, they are also agreeing. So let me pose a series of questions, and I want to know your answers and how you have taken into consideration all these points. The first thing is the yuga that you started with. So coming to the yuga concept, the Ramayana happened in the Treta Yuga, and you have explained that there are two types of yugas, and the Dharma Yuga and the other type of yuga, and you've given some explanations on that. But you have also, in your previous interactions and in your elaborations, you've said that Valmiki has not mentioned anything that Ramayana happened in Treta Yuga.
Yeah.
So,
Nowhere Treta Yuga appears in Valmiki Ramayana. Only
but
in
there
two
are but the references and inferences of people.
references. You see,
I want to start with the first question from Raghuveera Gadyam, written by Vedanta Desikar. And in Raghuveera Gadyam, what I'm seeing is he has mentioned that Rama lived in Treta Yuga in this slokam. I'll put this slokam on screen for the reference of the viewers. But I'm sure, ma'am, you must be knowing about Raghuveera Gadyam and the sloka where he quotes that Rama lived in Treta Yugam. So if and there is a calculation that the Treta Yugam is for these many years, Dwapara Yugam these many years, Kali Yugam these many
does
years.
Raghavira Gatyam says that also?
No, Raghuveera Gadyam doesn't talk about
Yes.
that.
So they just said Treta Yuga. Then you have to stop with that. Why
Okay,
do you bring in that without
okay,
knowing this is
okay.
applied?
No, no. Let's talk about Raghuveera Gadyam alone. So he says that Ramayana happened in Treta Yuga. Now, when is Treta Yuga?
Treta Yuga started after rainfall started in Bharata Varsha, says Vayu Purana and Brahmanda Purana.
When is that date, ma'am?
It is in that date is 13,000 years from now on. That means 11,000 BCE. That is where research comes. When it is being told in the text, like because these Puranas, they have five lakshanas. One of them is to talk about Kala and then Manvantras. And then what is the Kala? This particularly Vayu Purana and Brahmanda Purana are very popular. For anything we refer that. And Markandeya Rishi, when he narrated the story of Ramayana to Pandavas, and also when he talked about the Kala differences, he quoted Vayu Purana, only says Vayu Purana is an authority for Kala. And there it is being said, the moment that is after the rains have arrived, Treta Yuga started. Until then, for a long, long time, there was no rain at all. And then at that place only, I look for the research articles for rainfall. There is one overpeck at all. At all. Overpeck at all means overpeck and so many, so and so, so and so, so and so. We call it as overpeck at all. I have quoted in my Mahabharata book, because in Mahabharata book also the third chapter is full of Yuga only, more than 50 pages it will be going into. Okay, and they have around the world, all the monsoons have been now found out, like the time has been documented, found, researched and documented. And he also says 11,000 years, 11,000 BCE. And another thing I tell you, it rained for 500 years, so says Vayu Purana. At that time, because of the first time rain, suddenly crops started coming, mostly medicinal plants. Vayu Purana and Brahmanda Purana also mention the names of the crops. Then it says the rainfall stopped for 500 years. The same thing is being also found out by Overpeck et al.
Ma'am, oh,
Initially,
I have a question here. Sorry to cut you, but if you're quoting Vayu Purana and if 13,000 years back rainfall came and you're validating it with scientific facts and everything, but who wrote these Puranas? Were there people who wrote
I
this?
tell you, this Purana was compiled by Vyasa. Vyasa's
But
time.
Vyasa's period was not
Wait, and
13,000 years
Purana
old.
means which have been coming for ages, which is பூர்வத்தில் சொல்லப்பட்டது, but which has been coming for, it's like, see, the difference between Itihasa and Purana is both the Itihasas were written by the contemporaries. Actually, the author will be part of the story itself. The author will make an entry into the story. Okay, so they were the witness and they wrote everything what they have seen, and then so itihasa is totally awesome. That is, it happened thus. So they are the first primary pramanas. Suppose, see, we say pratyaksha anumana, this shruti. In shruti, when you are talking about mimamsa or some philosophical or astika darshanas, shruti will be Vedas. Whereas when you are coming to this is history. Ramayana is a history. When you are coming to that, the contemporary write-up, that is Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana, is the Shruti. That is the Shruti Pramana. It gives the Shruti Pramana. Within that Shruti Pramana, what Valmiki has seen and written is the Pratyaksha Pramana according to him. But we call it as a Shruti Pramana only. So that is how Itihasas, uh, you cannot question them. Whereas
Contemporary writing. Yeah.
contemporary write-ups. Okay, whereas Puranas, even before the Itihasas came into being, they have been there very old. There are 12 sons so far. So now we have the 12th son. The 10th son was Martanda. I have deciphered that also before that. And even I tell you the seasons. Now we have 4 plus 4 plus 4, our zodiacal. Nammun Pannende we have. Earlier it was just Ribhu, 3
No, ma'am.
only.
When it comes to Puranas,
All
when it
these
comes
are
to
been
no,
recorded, but
when
we
it
should
comes to
know when it happened.
Puranas,
Mm.
sorry, but when it comes to Puranas, you're ready to believe the Pramana given by elders.
Because
But
they don't even have the sources.
Ramayana,
They
when it
have
comes
the
to
sources. They
Ramayana,
have-
you want to debate it scientifically. Is there not a conflict here?
It's not a see where I'm bringing science. Actually, in Mahabharata, I tell you that Mahabharata did happen. How to prove to the world? I say, yeah, it is there in my book, and then I got the astrology and then astronomy, everything. But how to say that really it happened? When the comet had fallen, nearly more than 70 sightings are being recorded by Vyasa in the name of Nimittas. And until now, absolutely, I can write and tell you, no commentator or nobody would have known. Even I didn't know. I put a paper in academia.edu, which was circulated among for peer review. It was sent. But
Let me
see,
ask you this.
one scientist came up and then he said, "Oh, this is whatever you are seeing, giving is nothing but when a comet or an asteroid falls into the earth, that is, there will be the blood rain. That is what is being written here in the Mahabharata. Rain, that is, the clouds will be pouring rain. Can the clouds pour rain? It can't. But suppose nowadays it happens. Suppose one asteroid or a spacecraft re-enters. When spacecraft is going at every stages, it is falling down. Every stage it is falling down, and it creates nitrogen oxide. So when it mixes with water, it creates a red color. So in those days, people have thought it is blood. But only if the modern science we are able to decipher, oh, it is nitrogen oxide being created. So something has fallen. Same thing also happens in Ramayana in Kara Yuddha. So this has been recorded for 50-year record we have. You go to my pinned tweet under
What
that.
Astikas are asking is, even before you deciphered or you researched and brought up the date of Ramayana, people believed Rama existed. It is
No,
not that dating is going to
Rama
prove Rama
exists. So it's not
existed.
a problem, but I tell you, Ramayana is a Charitram. When you say a charitram, when did it happen? I mean, maybe in the past people didn't have ask for it. For ordinary people or very devout people, there is no need for them. But even take your child or my child, I am telling the story. When did it happen? Where did Rama go? Did he come here? Because he came to Ram Setu. When that question, the children will ask, what are you going to say? If you say, oh, he lived, I mean, he came 8 lakhs years ago, your child will ask, I mean, the world itself was different because at the current rate of speed of movement of our India, 5 centimeters per day, I mean, per year. See, in 1 crore year, 500 kilometers it has moved. It was very much different. If it was different, your Ram Setu also will be different. But when you are measuring the Ram Setu, I have measured that Kadam or whatever is given. I have measured in the book. It shows exactly as what it was there. So there is not much difference in the time period. If it had happened so long ago, it would have even stretched that way, this way, because the Indian landmass, as you know very well, the continental drift, it is all moving. So in 1 crore year, 500-year difference is there. 500-kilometer difference is there. Another thing I tell you, since I do astrometeorological research for me, this is the ninth year I am doing. My first source was Ramayana only. In Ramayana, in the rainy season, he is talking about the rainy season when it happened. Now, same
Madam,
way it
at
happened
50
then also.
centimeter, if it is moving, at 50
Five,
centimeter, if it is
5 centimeter. Now, because it is already crushed against the Himalayas, the movement is only 5 centimeter. Initially, it was 20 or 50 centimeter. When it left that Gondwana land, it was very fast at that time.
no,
That
if it
once
is
it
5
crashed,
centimeter, even if it is 5 centimeter,
I take
it
it
is
as 5
like
centimeter only.
35,000 centimeters. It has moved since your dating itself.
So how much
7,000
is
years back.
different? Okay, 35 centimeter, how much difference it will make? Whereas I am saying 500 kilometers, if it is
I'm telling
one
35,000 centimeters.
you make it into proper meters, you tell me. In 7,000 years, how much it would happen? See, 5,000 years ago, Mahabharata happened. Before that, just 2,000 years. And the rate of it also, once it has dashed against, see, three and a half crore ago,
So
three and a half,
it's only 350 meters.
not much difference. Not much difference is there. And also, we are finding the flora and fauna. I told this is my shorter version. In the longer version, why I was just not distributing it to the common man is that I want to bring out all things. All things means the flora and fauna is given in Ramayana. So far, I am collecting. I have not yet completed the collection. Everything is as it is today. Suppose if it is very, very long ago, there would have been differences. There are not much difference. That rainfall pattern has not differed. And coming to that overpeck, you are telling, that
Mm.
Ramayana, the Treda Yuga, you have to, there are texts to which we have to refer to, ma'am. Suppose you have to know about Kala of the very long time, Jyotisha Siddhanta. There only you have this thousands of the lakhs of years, because what are the all the planets when they start from when they join at one point is the beginning of Aries, Ashwini. Then all the planets, when they are coming back, they are going in different speeds. It will take 4 lakhs and 32,000 years. That means within that period, that combination will not repeat at all. For example, today, what is the planetary
No,
combination?
again, you are coming to the
That will
astrology
not, that
part of
will
it.
not repeat for 4 lakhs and 32 years. So that is for Jyotisha Siddhanta, which is calculatable, which is
No,
for calculation.
as I
No
said,
Veda.
we discussed the astrology part of it, but what I'm trying to understand is the yuga part. So, as you say,
You are,
you're
I'm coming to the Raghuvira Gadyam itself. Raghuvira Gadyam,
yeah.
it says Treda Yuga. I also say it is Treda Yuga. But the Treda Yuga is not in this planetary, I mean, measured by planetary combinations. That is what I am saying. In the
No,
case,
ma'am. So you are not agreeing to the fact that Kali Yuga is this many lakh years, Treta
that
Yuga is
only
this many
that,
lakh
yeah, that,
years.
that is there. That is see, actually, three types of yugas are there, ma'am. 5 year yuga. 5 year yuga means when sun and the moon join in Uttarayana, they will join once again after the 5 years only. On the sixth year only they will join. So that 5 year yuga was there for nearly 10,000 years before Mahabharata. Or to 8,000 years. Why I am saying it? In Rig Veda, there is a shloka on Dirghadamas, Rishi Dirghadamas. Dirghadamas lived before Ramayana. There it is saying Dirghadamas died in his 10th yuga. What is the 10th yuga? 10th yuga means in the 5 year yuga, five, like that. So between 50th and 55th year of his life, he died. That's what it means. So before Ramayana itself, this 5 year yuga is there. So in Ramayana also 5 year yuga. 5 year yuga, you have the names of five that years. First year is
Hmm?
Samvatsara, Idavatsara. I have to refer, not exact. The names
That's
for
okay.
each is a name. This comes under Jupiter cycle. To know that, you have to refer to Brihad Samhita by Varaha Mihira. So this 12 times when they come, it is 60 years. All the 60 years are named. Those names we have taken for our Surya Vattam. That is our solar cycle. We have taken that. Now the Kroti, Grodi and other things. Also they used 5 year yuga. Only after Krishna left, we started using the Kali Yuga and other things. Why? Because in Mahabharata there is evidence. So at that time, how they would have done the Sankalpa? Not Kali, the Treda Yuge, Pratame Pade or Dvitiya Pade, or not Dwapara Yuge. Now we say Kali Yuge Pratame Pade. At that time, no Treda Yuga went for this Sankalpa. They used the 5 year names only. Samvatsare, and then Anuvatsare, Idvatsare,
So
only
where
those
you
two
have
cycles.
reference for all
Yes,
that.
it's in
So how do
Mahabharata.
you?
In Mahabharata, one of the main features found out are from the Samvatsarena, this planet and this planet were in these positions aspecting this place. It's given. So people are just taking as a Varusham year.
So
But I
they didn't say Dwapara Yuga in Mahabharata.
there is no that Dwapara. I tell you how this was finalized only after Krishna left. Even when Krishna left, when Krishna left, Kali Yuga came. But do you know that when Krishna left, nobody knew. Even Vyasa did not know. At that time, Arjuna had gone there and then resettled them. It took 7 months for him to resettle. Only after 7 months, he went to Hastinapura, met first Vyasa, told him that Krishna has left. Then he advised, Vyasa advised, then you also better leave. That's what he said. So at that time only, they had decided. This is known from Bhagavata Purana. Srimad Bhagavatam is the for all Vaishnavites, for even for everybody. Even in Manimegale, it is being told. Vishnu Puranam and all these things only were used in those days. In the 12th chapter, it is being clearly told when Krishna left the world, Kali Yuga started. But what happened when Saptarishis were moving and then they entered Maga Nakshatra, Kali Yuga started. At that time, Nanda dynasty was running. But in the very next verse, it says, but anyway, Puravida, that is in the olden days, the intelligent rishis have said when Krishna left. So for time computation, like what is today, like we say Gregorian date, now today, this date, and then 2024 year, we say like that, for that only, that is because it's a very continuous calculation. It won't be affected at all. Even whomever comes and goes, no one can change it because the
So
sun goes
mm,
on and the days goes on. There is no
ma'am,
Bedam, it is there.
to
There
to
is
put
no
it
change.
okay. So
So
to summarize what you have said. What Vedanta Desikar said as Dwapara Yuga, he means only the Dharma Yuga and not the divine,
Yes,
and not the
yes.
Divya Yuga, which is like
Yes,
4,320,000 years and all. You
yes.
have references, these many lakh
Yes, the
years.
reference is in Mahabharata. Actually, you have to take
And
time.
what Vedanta Desikar says is he is talking about Dharma Yuga is what you are assuming. I mean, you
He's
are.
saying first, see, these
Hmm.
are all being just by generation after generation, we are getting it. So, generation after generation, they are getting the information that it is Treta Yuga. And this Treta Yuga, where it starts, where it is being told only in Vyasa Mahabharata, in the first chapter itself, in the second Adhyaya, in the third and the ninth verse. Sutta Muniva was telling, that is Sutta Rishi is telling the other rishis in Naimisharanya the story of Mahabharata. At that time, he takes them to the with the Mahabharata Kurukshetra, that was known as Samanta Panchaka in those days. Samanta Panchaka means five tanks, five ponds were there. At that place only, he says, during Treta and Dwapara Sandhi. Sandhi means they are joining. Treta has not yet over and Dwapara has not yet started. There is a Sandhi. When the in Treta Dwapara Sandhi, in this place, Parashurama killed the Kshatriyas. That is, he filled the blood of the Kshatriyas. He killed, he filled these tanks with the blood. Once again, he says, in this place, during Dwapara and Kali Sandhi, Mahabharata war took place. At that time, the blood of the slain soldiers were filled in these uh, five ponds, Samanta Panchaka. But today, after 5,000 years, Mahabharata war happened some 5,050 years ago. So now, there is no Samanta Panchaka. There is no fire. We don't find the five ponds there. So in this 5,000 years, it has changed. But between Parasurama time, Parasurama is a contemporary of Rama. So between Parasurama and then Krishna time, the geological no geological change in the Samanta Panchaka. But today it has changed. That itself shows there is a less gap between Ramayana and Mahabharata.
So
So it was
you're also telling that it's only 2,000 years difference,
difference 2000. You see so many examples
approximately
are there.
2,000
See
years.
so many examples are there. For example, Vishnu Purana and then Bhagavata Purana is giving the lineage of all the kings after Ikshvaku, coming from Kusha's lineage. And then the last one was Brihad Bala. He fought Mahabharata war. He was killed by Abhimanyu. Suppose they have lived very lakhs of years ago. This is not possible. This is all recorded. Names are all recorded. For everything you can, that is the time period, we don't know how many years each king lived, we don't know that. We cannot find out. We only a guesswork only we can do, but the names are given. Why so? Even in the Ram Janmabhoomi issue, when we were fighting in the for retrieval of Ram Janmabhoomi in the court asked, are there any descendants of Rama living? Because you are claiming that it is the birthplace of Rama. The court is asking. Birthplace means, if you have to claim, means it should have been in a datable recent past, not very, very long ago. So if it is in the datable past,
But the
someone can
verdict was not given based on the dating of Rama.
no no
Verdict
see no
was not given
no
based on.
no, no. So dating was
That,
not ready at
that's
that
the
time.
no, that's fine. Even if dating was not there, the constitution says if it's
Hmm.
a belief that Rama was born there, you
No,
cannot
no,
interfere with the
no.
belief.
Whatever
And
it is,
the verdict was given based on belief, not dating or
not
science.
belief, but the court asked the Mr. Parasharan,
Court
and then
asked, yeah, it
at
is.
that time, Diya Kumari of the Udaipur or that palace, she produced some 18th century that olden records from her family. She claims herself to be the third 309th descendant of Rama. They showed the old records where the names one by one are written. So that is there. And another one also I can tell you. See, in Skanda Purana,
Ma'am,
the
one second, ma'am. Sorry to cut you in again, but I want to move on to other further questions. I don't want to spend so much time explaining one question because I don't want the viewers to get distracted with it. So let me go on to the next question about the 11,000 years of Rama
okay.
Rajya, the rule of Rama. And you have quoted a metaphor from Mahabharata that when for a dharmic person or a person who follows Dharma, 1 year is equal to 1 year. In fact, I misquoted in my earlier interviews. So 1 year is equal to
Mm.
1 day is equal to 1 year. So
Mm.
based on that, Bhima was asking that 13 days have passed. So our 13 years of journey, you are a very dharmic person, Dharma. So we can go and fight Duryodhana, is what he's asking. So based on that, you are telling that this 11,000 years should be a metaphor, or is it
Given
something
two,
else? Is there
I
a
have given,
is
actually,
there
I have
a is there a
two
am I
interpretations.
missing something in my interpretation, or how is
Yes,
it?
I have given two interpretations in my blog written 15 years ago.
Please go ahead.
Whereas in my book, it's a separate chapter. In my book, I have collected all these year oriented ones. See, it says like when Rama started for exile, 14-year exile, the Sarada was crying. Rama told him, "You rule for 1,000 years when I am in the forest. You rule for 1,000 years when I am in the forest." And
It is you are telling me it is quoted in Valmiki Ramayana.
Valmiki, yeah, everything I have said that is in Valmiki 234:28. 234, Rama told him Dasratha would be the ruler for 1,000 years while he would spend the time in the forest. Second chapter 34:28. And like this, several are there, not just one. I have recorded everything, right? Starting from Sagara. Sagara ruled for 30 years, his 30,000 years, not his son. Even Dilipa, yes, Dilipa ruled. And then after that, Dilipa also ruled for 30,000 years. Then comes Dasharatha ruled for 60,000 years. Rama ruled. Here, Ramo Rajyam Upasitva Brahmalokam Prayasyati. That is what is given in the first chapter itself. People talk about 16 qualities of Rama in the first chapter, but they had scarcely seen this particular verse in first chapter itself, which says Ramo Rajyam Upasitva. What is Upasitva? This is being told like after he has become the crowned king. That is after he has returned from exile. It is I never said, and Valmiki also doesn't say that this 11,000 is the age of Rama. That's wrong. But some people are misinterpreting
Rule.
my
Rule is what
no, that
is
is after he has become the king, after he was crowned, on his return from exile, he ruled, not even ruled, upasitva. What is the meaning of upasitva? Upasitva,
mm,
upasanai we say. Tamil we say upasane. Upasikiren, unnai upasikiren. Upasitva means reverencing, worshipping. So this Ramo Rajyam, Rama Rajyam was being reverenced for 11,000 years, means Rama Rajyam existed for 11,000 years. Why I am saying this? If Rama had lived for 11,000 years in real terms, he lived in mortal sharira, but actually he lived only for only as a manushya. In several places it is being told so in Ramayana itself. Even in Sundarakanda, Sita will be telling Hanuman, if at all a person lives for 100 years, he will get some happiness at least once. I got happiness at least now on seeing you. So if at all, and also Vedam Prayam Nure, 100 years only is being here. Jivema Sharata Shadam.
where is it told, ma'am? Vedam Prayam Nori, it's a commonly
Common word. But
heard one.
Jive
No, but
Sandhya
where
Vandana,
is the pramana for that, ma'am?
that is in Tamil. Vedam Prayam Nyuri is in the Tamil. Whereas in Sanskrit,
No, do we
in
have any
Sandhya,
actual
saying Sandhya Vandanam, Jivema Sharadashadam, Pashyema Sharadashadam in the afternoon oblation. That means let me live for 100 Sharad season. Let me see the sun for 100 Sharad. Why they Sharad? That is also a research question. Because in those days,
No, ma'am,
I
can you
mean,
explain it? Sanskrit. I don't think viewers would be able to follow.
Jive,
What does it mean?
let me live for 100 Sharad season. Sharad season is the autumn season, which comes after the rainy season. Okay, in those days, enduring the rainy season was a very tough thing. In the Rigvedic verses, also we
No,
find that
basically they are asking for living 100 years.
100 years. They are asking
Simply.
for
Yeah,
simply.
simple.
And
Okay. Okay.
Sita herself says in Sundarakanda to Hanuman that if at all a person lives for 100 years, why if at all a person lives for 100 years?
No,
Because 100
ma'am, the
years is
question is that is okay. You're calling it as a first thing is you said about Dasaratha ruling for 1,000 years. So you're in that context. I'm asking you. Rama asked Dasaratha to rule for 1,000 years. So
thousand
if
years.
he is
Then
going for 40,
then that is there are several like this. Even
so what is the inference from that?
I tell you another one. Then you find out another one. I
No,
am giving
no,
from Tamil. In
I'm
Tamil,
confused.
Tolkapia. Tolkapia was
No, no,
introduced in the.
ma'am, let's go one by one. Sorry, it will
No, no,
confuse
no,
the
no.
user.
I am giving this
No, it will
comparison
very,
for you to
it will
understand.
confuse me.
No, it won't
Okay.
confuse. Tolkapiam was introduced in the Pandyan king's court. That Pandyan king ruled for 24,000 years, says Nachinarkinir, the commentator. So Pandyans also have lived for 24,000 years. Have you ever heard? Very recent only. Pandyan is a very
Madam,
recent.
it is, no, 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 no. The dynasty, the kings, it's not one
Ah,
king.
no, no, he says Makirti ruled for 24,000 years. So, for that, I am giving you further thing from Paditrupatte. Paditrupatte, Perimkundur Kirar tells Cheraking Kudakko Ilam Cheral Yurumburai, Ninnal Tingal Anayavaga. Your one day is equal to 1 month. Your 1 month is equal to 1 year. Your 1 year is equal to one Wuri. We don't know, we have to decipher, I mean, see the dictionary to find the meaning of Wuri. One Wuri is equal to one Varambu. So, this is a way of talking, about the higher level people, about the kings. In Tamil, it is there, in Sanskrit, it is there. So, the 11,000, but I don't say that is mortally living for 11,000 years is not possible. And Vodane, you cannot say that oh, he is a king, he is a deity. See, he is a deity, he is an avatar, but he is a Manushya avatar. He himself says that so many times he believed, he behaved like a Manushya with all the. See, but Dasharatha's body was, I mean, it had to be
No,
maintained
but
in a.
but the metaphor, so you're telling me that it's a metaphor used, and people are
No, no,
it's
no, I don't say it is a metaphor. Suppose it is a metaphor. My question is when Dasharatha was given 60,000 years, why restrict 11,000 years for Rama? They could have said something. He also lived for 60,000 years. No. Why they restricted it? That question comes.
ma'am,
And
that is
then on
exactly because that is exactly what people are telling. That is what Pramana says.
what Brahmana?
That is what is given in Valmiki Ramayana that Dasharatha
Yeah,
lived for
that's what.
60,000 years.
But you have to ask, ma'am, why 60,000 years for Dasharatha and only 11,000 years for Rama? And also, Dashavarsha Sahasrani, that is 10,000 years and then 1,000 years. Why they split and then why they give like that? Why only 11,000 years? Why? And another thing, Rama left to Vaikunta along with his brothers. So his brothers also have lived for 11,000 years. And then Vibhishana and
No,
Sugriva
but
came,
one
they
more
came
thing.
like him when he left for Vaikunta. So they also must have lived for 11,000 years if you believe that 11,000 is a physical quantity, that is physical duration.
Ma'am, if you say Rama the deciphering the 11,000 into days, then it's going to into years or days, then it's going to
Yes.
come approximate to 30 days. Whereas
31,
Rama
31 years. No, no,
31,
31 years. No, you
no,
cannot
31
apply.
years, but Rama left. These are questions posed to me. Okay, I'm just repeating the questions for you. Rama left to Aranya at the age of 25 plus 14 years of life there. So it's going to be a mismatch.
When
Are
he
you
came
are
back,
you
it was 39. When he came back, when he was crowned, it was
and
39.
as per you, it is only 31 years. Then
From
what are
39
we?
plus 31, 70 years. 31, 39 years. On the 39th year, he came back from exile.
Okay.
He was
Mm.
crowned on the either 39th or 40th, the 39th year only. And then thereafter, 11,000 years, Upasitva. So when there are two meanings. Upasitva means it was reverence. So Ramo Rajya existed for 11,000 years. So 7,000 years are already over. 4,000 more years
Ma'am,
are there for
if
Rama
you are
Rajya.
if you are taking one as metaphor and the other as exact, then it's going to create confusion. Say for
No,
example, Rama lived in exile for 14 years. It's not 14 days, it's 14 years.
no, you have to understand this verse comes only after Ramarajyam, that is, after he was crowned. It doesn't come before that. Look at the verse properly.
No, no, no. I
Ramarajyam,
understand. No, no,
so
I understand.
don't confuse it with the period before. It is not his
No,
age.
ma'am.
He was
No, what I am trying to tell here, ma'am, is very simple. If you are using 1 year that is mentioned in Ramayana, if you are taking it as a metaphor and the other year as absolute, then I understand that only after he comes back and takes power,
There
this
only it
statement
appears.
was
There
given.
only
Yeah,
it is being.
only after he comes back and takes power, this is uttered. But if you're calling this as metaphor, why not the 14 years as metaphor?
Why should they? It is not told. Why should I take when the
No,
Valmiki
even
has?
even even for 11,000 years, you are stating it is a metaphor. It is nowhere stated
I
it is
don't say it
metaphor.
is a metaphor. You see, the word is Ramo Rajyam Upasitva. What does it mean? So that is why I'm saying I'm giving two interpretations. One interpretation why it is. We see if he lived for 11,000 years, then everybody had lived for 11,000 years. Then what is the big deal about it? The Rama had lived for 11,000 years.
No,
What
where
is the
are
big deal?
the, what do you mean everybody lived? Not everybody lives.
Yes, all his brothers lived. All of them together only they, I mean,
Okay.
entered
All
Sarayu
his
and then
brothers.
fighted.
Okay. Okay.
At that time, this Sugriva and then Vibhishana came and met them. So they also have lived so long. So it creates a kind of conflicting thing, like how can others also, when others are also able to live for so many years, so what is this big
Ma'am,
deal
but
about
if
it?
Valmiki is telling 14 years of exile for Rama, why can't he say the same about Rama Rajya in simple terms? Why confuse the
Maybe
readers?
that is why, see, another in Upanishads also it comes. The rishis are fond of telling things secretly. It is up to you to search and then get it. They don't. They didn't spoon feed you. They didn't. So we have to know. See, this may not be that is like 11,000 years. Why the philosophical connotation may be there because upasitva, that word is there. Upasitva means the Rama Rajyam was reverenced. Rama Rajyam existed. Now, even now, Prana Pratishtha has happened. Rama Rajyam is continuing. We are following the Rama Rajya ideals even now, the rules. So the Rama Rajyam will continue. Rama Rajyam will be there till Ganga is there. That's what in one place it is being told as per the current theory. Then you don't say don't bring science without knowing the current one. Like we are not Pamaras, we are
I'm not
educated.
against science, ma'am.
Today we have lots and lots of, as I told for this red color rain of blood falling. Even 100 years people would not have known. Even I didn't know when I started. Only when I was told by an expert I came to know. So we have to know this also, and then this only shows us what really happened. So this
Ma'am,
Upasitva means Ramarajyam continued. See, Ganga, as per present study, it will last only for 5,000 years. Even recently, you have seen the pictures also. Ganga is receding, Gangotri is receding. So the Ganga will be lost, and then once again we are going to have an ice age. It could start anytime from 10,000 years to 50,000 years, as per today's whatever research. Anytime after 10,000 years, the ice age could start. So that
ma'am,
means rivers will not flow. So by then, until then, the Ramajajya will be there. Then after that, anarchy.
ma'am,
So
two
that's
more questions. Two more questions from my end. The one reference that is given in Ramayana is the 24th Chatur Yoga.
which
And
reference? It is a Shabda Pramana or primary
no,
evidence.
it's a primary evidence.
They take it. Then
Valmiki
why should
Ramayana.
Valmiki Ramayana doesn't say that.
It,
Valmiki Ramayana doesn't say that. Maybe some Purana. Purana is for guidance. Whatever you have seen in Valmiki, that is that is in Mahabharata, the Treta,
so
Dwapara, Sandhi.
you will not take Puranas as your primary evidence is what you're
They are
telling
not
me.
for primary evidence because we don't know who added later. Because you see the Bhavishya Purana, until 10,000 years ago, I mean, 1,000 years ago, things were added.
Ma'am, if we
Puran-
are not going to take what is stated in
Purana,
Puranas as primary evidences, why are we reverencing them even till date? Why are
yes,
all the acharyas
they
reverencing
are
them till date?
guidebooks. They are, see, I have a Panchanga. By seeing the Panchanga only, I know what is today and all that. But there is a guidebook for Panchanga also, like Jyotita Chintamani. It tells you how the computation is being done and then how you have to add a month, I mean, days for a month and all that. So that is not applicable to my daily life. That is for my calculation or understanding, or whenever I have a problem, I refer to it. It's a guide. It is not a primary. See, we have to be very clear. If you are talking in terms of our Sanatana Dharma, it should be Shabda Pramana or Pratyaksha Pramana. Here, Shabda is your Valmiki Ramayana. If at all you want to take Vyasa Bharata, secondary only, even then. Only Valmiki Ramayana is a Shabda we have to take. You do in the modern historical way, means primary evidence and secondary evidence. In Ramanuja Itihasa, I have discussed both. So the primary evidence is the contemporary thing. Only that we will take. Secondary, we will not take everything. Secondary is what is written later based on the primary, whereas Puranas are in no way written based on the Itihasas. They have specific lakshanas, like they talk about creation, dissolution, and the age of Brahma, and then Manvantras, that is Kala, and then Vamshavali. Only for that only you refer that. In that Vamshavali only you are finding Brihad Bala living till Mahabharata time. Then you understand, okay, if an Ikshvaku king had lived up to Mahabharata time, then you should have been in a datable time. Another thing I'll tell you, Ramayana itself, that is the lineage is given by Vasishta at the time of marriage. Bhagirath brought Ganga.
Ganga.
He was the 24th king in that list. 40th king is Rama. So between them only 15 kings. So 15 kings, how long they would have ruled? You put 30 years or whatever it is, maximum 1,000 years only. So between Ganga coming into existence and Rama, there is just 1,000 years. And also in Prayaga, they are meeting in Bharadwaja Ashrama. They today we say all the three rivers are joining Saraswati underground, and then Yamuna and Ganga. Whereas in Rama's time, it is clearly told Ganga and Yamuna only are
Ma'am, how do
merging.
you say Saraswati is joining? Have you seen it?
Today we believe so. There is a
Believe.
no, no, it is there. See, when it started, because I tell
Ma'am,
you,
there
in
is a clear
Mahabharata,
jungling
in
between
Mahabharata, it's
belief
not a
and
belief. It is
science
being
here.
told. We have not seen.
Yeah,
There
that's
only
what.
research. There only scientific research come. No scientific research has happened. Whether water line is going underway. When I am bringing in a scientific research, you are saying no, no, you should not. So without the scientific research, you cannot find out.
No, no,
What
just now you said it's a belief, right?
because we have not proved. When it is not proved, it's only a belief. I
Ma'am,
prove Rama's dead.
Rama, ma'am,
It's
my
only
another
a belief.
question, which many people wanted to ask you is, you've been continuously telling Rama did Manushya Avatara. Can a man touch a rock and convert it to a human being?
No, yeah, everybody is wrong. Let them read Valmiki Ramayana. There is no rock or nothing like that. It is a metaphor. I'm going to add it. Why I'm waiting for my final. When people are asking me, I'm asking them to wait for my final book, because I'm covering that also. When you are reading that, it's not only Ahalya, then Indra also comes. And what kind of punishment Indra? See, Indra's testicles had fallen. It says so. And then Indra's body is totally, full of there's a vagina
Ice.
mark. All these are, and then these devas, they took the testicles of a goat and then
Ma'am,
attached
how
it.
are you going to explain Indra? How are you
Indra,
going to explain Indra to the
Indra,
next
Indra, Indra
generation?
is three levels. Indra is a geological, that is a rain. In the rainfall season that Rama explains, he is
Indra is
clearly
a rain god.
no rain. He's okay. It is a rain god or a manifestation of a rain.
No, no,
And then
rain god in the sense people revered it as a rain god.
yeah, whenever rain comes, rain has,
No,
whenever
here,
that
no.
thunder
What
is
I'm
being
trying to, ma'am, what I'm trying to ask you is, you're quoting Indra. When you're quoting Indra, you cannot prove Indra's existence because Indra is a belief.
there it is given as a metaphor. You read because
So,
Dharma.
ma'am, wherever you cannot explain, it's a
No,
metaphor.
no, this
Wherever you can
just
explain, it is
no
science.
Ahalya Shapa as given by Valmiki. There is no stone or anything. It was once a waterway which was abandoned due to poison, a snake or some poison. Then nobody went near that, so it was still. And then all the leaves, and this is how it is being given. Leaves and other things are spreading over that. Nobody went near that, and there was no rainfall also at that time. And when Rama came, it became a kind of, when he saw that, when he removed that whatever the lying upon that, it was a clear water. It was a potable water. That is what is being given. It is given as that is a story. What happened in reality, what happened in nature, is being given as a story. Only
No,
later, not in
are
Valmiki.
you are you telling me there is no character called Ahalya?
They were
And
characters. How like we have Arundhati and Vasishta, the characters lived, but they've made them. We see them in the stars. So like
no,
that,
so the Rama's
we
Agalya
have
Saba Vimochana, you are telling me that it is not that Agalya was turned into a rock and
it
Rama
is,
gave her
you
moksha.
have to
That
start from
story you are
basic.
not buying.
You see, it's not that I am buying. You read by yourself Valmiki Ramayana, the Ahalya part. You read by yourself. Then only you will realize, wow, it is not given like what people say. It looks different. It just says about a natural thing that has happened. And when Rama came, it became sort of another, that is about the water can be used. And then at that time, immediately Ahalya came. Once Ahalya and Gautama Rishi lived there, and then they are connecting with that. What about Arundhati and Vasishta? They are there in the stars, but they lived as a family, husband and wife. Several problems, and then what they are together. They are angry with each other. All these are all being given. All these are also being connected with that. So the basic length we have to start. Basic is that how the rishis normally tell a story.
Ma'am,
Generally, they
why
don't.
are not any of the Upanyasakas talking about it? If it is given
I don't.
so in
I
Ramayana,
don't know. I
what? No,
don't.
because I have heard a lot of discourses of Ramayana, as
Hmm.
many others.
Even I heard,
That
even
we
I
are
heard
not.
school.
Yeah. So you heard what I asked you, right? So that
Yes.
is what the
But
Upanyasakas are
when I am
telling.
reading, you read Rama, that's what I'm saying. Instead of
No,
reading the secondary
no,
and tertiary text, if you read the original,
you are
you
disregarding
get a
whatever
different.
all the no. Are you disregarding whatever all the Upanyasakas and revered people like Velukudi Swami and
See,
all are telling?
they are giving it as a story. See, for a small child, when when your child is small, you just tell a story. As they grow up, only you tell them the nuances of that. Once you grow up, you don't need stories. You understand that. That is how they are preparing this from the lowest to the highest level. That you have to understand. And the rishis themselves have said, even Vyasa also said in Valmiki, in Vyasa Bharata, that is, things will be given in secrecy in some places. At some places, it is just how I told. I found out it. I found out that time to be Amavasya because they did the upasanas and then the pitru obligations, all that. And then that day they stayed, they didn't continue. So that shows that Amavasya Tarpana has happened at that time. They didn't say, he didn't say that Amavasya Tarpana was done. Everything is not totally spoon fed. Please understand that. Rishis are very fond of saying things secretively. There is a word in Upanishads like that. They are fond of saying. So it's the same thing, but gradually, word by word, when you are reading it, you find that it looks odd. You find that what you are hearing about Ahalya Shapa is not there. Even similarly, Agastya eating Vatapi. Vata api, Vatam, it causes Vata api jeerna. In those days when children are small, after you are feeding them, you put the children on your shoulder and then you pat. At that time, Vata api jeerna hai, Vata api jeerna hai. That means that Vatam, that is that gas, let it be digested. So from that angle, when you are seeing, because Vatapi comes in that Vatapi episode comes in Ramayana, so that also we have to justify. Simple thing. Another thing, even in the Agastya story, how the story goes, that is one kundam was there. Within that, this cement falls, this falls, and all that, and then Vasishta forms, and then Agastya forms in the same kunda. Then it is breaking and on two sides. So this looks like a myth or something. What is the meaning in reality? If you are seeing in Valmiki Ramayana itself in Uttarakhanda, Rama is referring to Vasishta as Kumbhayoni because he was standing in the Kumbha of Kaveri and he did the penance for 12 years. So he called him as a Kumbhayoni. But then he went to the south. Today also the Agastya star is in the south. Vasishtas are in the north. They are circumpolar in their respective poles. That is what is being meant, that the two hemispheres, they represent the two hemispheres. They stay there all the time. So behind that, there is a natural a truth. That is what we have to bring out. For that, you should know what nature talks about. What is Canopus? How Canopus is only a circumpolar star, and where Vasishta is this. So this knowledge of astronomy should come there. See, all the rishis, they stayed only in the that Aranya, any Aranya. They stayed in the open. They were watching the I mean, surroundings in astrometeorology, almost all the rishis have contributed. You know that about rainfall, when it will come, how the cloud formation will be. They have watched. In Tamil also, we call them as Arivan. So that is there. They, outside, they have watched the nature, and then they have imbibed, they have meditated upon it, and they got and then gave. When they are giving, sometimes they give just totally straight away. You can take it, and sometimes they give in a kind of codified form, and that you have to search and find out. That will stand forever. Only when there is a code, it will stand forever. Otherwise, it will be, I mean, forgotten.
Ma'am, thank you. But I want to start with the last part of the interview. Uh, it is about the involvement of Tamil. I want to conclude the episode or the discussion with the discussion about Tamil. Tamil has had a very, very special place in Ramayana. Because
Yes.
if the viewers remember, we discussed about the oldest language of Bharat, and at that time you quoted that that's the first time I heard, thanks to you. That's the first time you quoted that Hanuman spoke to Sita in Mathura Bhasha. And you also told that the Bhasha referred here, the Mathura Bhasha referred here is Tamil language. So Tamil language existed, and Valmiki himself has written text. Valmiki Padinara, I believe, right? So that's the text.
Purananur also. Purananur.
Purananur also, it's some 358th or some sloga he has written. And there are also debates about that Valmiki is different, this Valmiki is different, which also you can reply in your answer. But the Tamil language has said to have existed. So if it is about, if it's a 24th Chaturyuga as per Puranas or references, and it's kind of, if you take it as the Divya Yuga dating and everything, it's going back to 1 crore plus years. Uh, what is your thought that Tamil language could have existed 1 crore year back?
It didn't
Because
exist.
we spoke
Already
about
we
Ice
have
Age and everything.
we have
So,
done a video also earlier, because the Shiva Periman, Shiva, Lord Shiva, he simultaneously, that is from the pre-existing, it should have been from a pre-existing language. He divided, that is, he prepared or he made Sanskrit, and then he also made Tamil, and then he to the respective people, he had taught them. That is how it has come. That was the time of Skanda. Skanda lived some 10,000 BCE. There is a calculation for that as per Nakiran. So only at that time this has happened. Evidence is there in Thiruvaliyadal Puranam and Thirumoollas Thirumandiram. It's being given. In Thirumoollas
now you
Thirumandiram,
are again quoting a Puranam. You're okay with quoting Puranam
somewhere
now?
you have to have an evidence. It says, I this is Tamil, not
No,
this
that's
thing.
why I said earlier, like some
Yeah,
places you
yeah.
wanted
No,
to take
no, no,
Puranam,
no,
some
no,
places
no.
you don't want to.
For Valmiki related ones, I will quote only that. For Tamil related ones, I have to go by the Tamil text. In the Tamil text only, it is being told that Sanskrit and then Tamil are simultaneously given to like Panini and Agastya. Definitely Panini didn't live at that time. Probably this was added, like to give an idea. Yes, to remember that Panini means he represents Sanskrit. That is how they have given. So you have to remember, when I talk about Ramayana, I stick to only Valmiki. Here we are not talking about, I'll tell you, in Ramayana period, they didn't talk direct Tamil, grammatical Tamil. Madhura only they spoke. Madhuram Madhuraksharam, Mara Mara Mara. It is an ungrammatical Tamil. Ungrammatical Tamil was grammatified by Shiva Peruman. That is what the text say. For Tamil, this is the pramana. The pramana comes only from that for Tamil. So I am not mixing, I take this, I don't take this, I don't do that. So Tamil had existed ever since Sanskrit also existed. That is what is being told.
Madam, Tamil existed. It is you know that it is a very natural language. So any natural language is not formed based on what Puranas say, but a natural language is formed based on the evolution of phonics,
Yes.
that is used by people living in that particular age.
Yes, that is what. Right from Raivataka Manvantara, because in Raivataka Manvantara, according to Markandeya Purana, Ritwak, the stories are there. You can refer to my YouTube videos where I have given that spoken language when it was formed. The time period seems to be 25,000 years ago. Initial spoken language. That is the time the peak glacial maxima happens. People could not move around. They stay in one place. When you stay in one place continuously only, communication, family life, everything starts. So that had started in Southeast Asia only initially. So after that, when the this thing has that is the ice has it is gradually coming out. I mean, melting, and then water is also flowing. This period is given as Charishtava Manvantara in Vayu and Brahmanda Purana. Charishtava means chara, movement. So that from that time onwards, people have started moving in different directions. That is why the same concept is found in different parts of the world, not
It's
directly
okay,
from
but
India. Okay,
let we can
coming to the point, Tamil
Tamil
and
and
Sanskrit.
sorry.
Yes,
Go ahead.
we will come to
Tamil
the
and
Tamil and Sanskrit. It was Maduram was ungrammatical language. Why I am saying is this word Maduram is found in several places, particularly when people, the common people are talking. It is in Maduram. For example, when Rama was being taken to the exile by the charioteer Sumatra, he would start crying. When he left them, he started crying. At that time, repeatedly, the Madhura will come. Rama will be telling in Madhura Bhasha, like not Madhura Bhasha, Madhuram Uvacha, and then Madhuram Abravite. Like that, the words are coming. See, Madhuram also means sweetness. Madhuram means sweetness. But when he is crying, why should he just keep on saying Madhuram? More than anything else, this thing. Angada, when they could not find out Sita, they did not want to go back to Sugriva with a fallen face. So they decided to commit suicide. At that time, he is giving a lecture to the fellow Vanaras in Madhuram. He talks Madhuram. So how can somebody who wants to die, who wants to commit suicide, will use the word Madhuram? And one thing you remember, in the very beginning, Valmiki says, Valmiki uses all proper, exact, relevant words only wherever they are. So there, Madhuram is not relevant. One more example I'll tell you. That is when that is Sita and Lakshmana were there in the Parnashala, and Rama had gone after this Maricha. Then Maricha was screaming that, hey Sita, hey Lakshmana. So Sita sent Lakshmana on the way. And then Rama killed Maricha by that time. And then he was just rushing. Oh, this Maricha had shouted like this, they should not be get disturbed. And he was rushing. He saw Lakshmana coming. He got angry. He started shouting at him in Madura. How can that be? This particular verse, is a topic of explanation by almost all the acharyas, all the commentators. Why the Madhuram is there? Because it is not fitting into that. So they arrived at an opinion, probably because of this only hereafter this abduction is going to take place. Because of that abduction, that Ravana Vada is going to take place. That is why he said Madhura. But that doesn't look logical, isn't it? But whereas when you're angry, like when you're in your own self, you talk in your mother tongue. You talk in the tongue that is a regular mother tongue. So that is why he has told Parusham Vakyam in Madhuram. That is what is being told. That is how actually I am not the originator of this. One Mr. Srinivas Iyengar, long ago in the 1920s or 30s, in a book called Sendamil, he only noticed this and then he has written. And then when I read that, then I picked up and then I started searching the entire Ramayana for Madhuram words. So that is a separate topic in my book also. And whatever I have collected, when I compiled, I am surprised to see that Madhuram appears only for. So, for example, Rama is coming towards Dasharatha's palace. On the way, people are all waiting. And then Rama is greeting them in Madhuram. So, the common people, when you are talking to average people, ordinary people, that is in Madhuram.
So you
When they
mean to say when Rama goes to Ayodhya, he speaks in Maduram language?
to the people, that is when he before the exile starts. He
No,
that is
that
no.
means in Uttar Pradesh people were speaking Maduram language, which is
Yes,
Tamil.
throughout India.
Throughout
Throughout
India, Tamil was
this is
spoken.
this is one area of research by our linguist. But unfortunately, after the independence, our independence, everybody is sort of divisive. When the Britishers came, they analyzed the languages, and they found some commonality. there is a which they called it as apabramsha, that is there in all the languages they found. And that apabramsha is a kind of stunted, it means
No,
stunted language.
linguistic studies we can definitely talk,
Yeah,
but I want
linguistic
to
research
focus
should
more
happen.
on.
Which
So I
research
want to
should happen,
focus
I'm saying.
more on, yeah, research should happen, but I want to focus more on Ramayana and this. So you're giving me references that Rama has spoken in Mathura Bhasha and that Mathura Bhasha is Tamil.
Yes,
So no
even a
way
Tamil,
Tamil.
proverb also. Pambinkal Pambriyam, which is exactly like Ahi Reve, Ahe Jana, Ahe Padan, Vijanati. Sita tells to the Rakshasis in Ashokavana. There is no such proverb in Sanskrit.
So
And
you're
Ahi
only so
Pambinkal
you're
Pambriyam,
only validating that Tamil language has existed
there are
and
there. See,
it cannot exist prior to
not validating when we are seeing that certain issues and all, these kind of references are there, we find a commonality between them, that we infer that Tamil was there. It is not that I am looking for Tamil. When I understood, actually my the initial one was Srinivasa Raghavan. He only picked out even Sundarakandam, he has given the meaning. Sundarakandam is a Tamil word, it's a Saundarya Kandam in Sanskrit. Sundara means it is Tamil. So there is a kind of blend in those days, little blend. You have to read his book. Actually, I'll produce that in my book. What Srinivas Iyengar says also, I'll produce in my book so that people need not have to go and then search. So what we are doing is when we are seeing in Ashokavana dialogue, lot of words are there. Many times it is getting repeated because they have planned to speak in that language. Like when Sita was very sad that she was afraid whether Hanuman was a spy of Ravana. She says that Madhuram word appears more than anything else. Pujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Arhya Kavita Shaka Vande Valmiki Kokilam. That is the first verse that we say when we are starting the Parayanam of Ramayana. Pujantam Rama Rama iti. Rama Rama Kujantam, that is singing. Which one? Vande Valmiki Kokilam. The Kokilam means cuckoo. Valmiki Kokilam. Valmiki, who is a cuckoo, was singing Kujantam Rama Rama iti. Rama Rama, he spoke or he sang in Maduram Maduraksharam. Maduraksharam, one time you say it's okay. Why Maduram? Once again Maduraksharam. So he was singing in Maduram. What he is singing in Maduram? Maduraksharam. What is the Aksharam he sang? Mara, 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 Mara. That became Rama, Rama, Rama. Mara is the word actually in Kannada for Maram. Maram is the word, that's a grammatical word for us. Maram is tree. This Ratnakar, Valmiki as Ratnakar was in the forest area. He was hiding in the trees while he was trying to, attack the people. So Maram is that is the tree is a word that he knows pretty well. So the rishis just taught him, Mara, you just say Mara. Keep on contemplating on it. That is a Madhura Aksharam. When he did that Madhura Aksharam, that it became the sweet word of Rama. Rama. Actually, Rama means not exactly sweet. It's sort of very ramyati. ரமணத்தி ரொம்ப ரம்யமா இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்றது. So that word, it just left it just made him rise on the Arihya Kavita Shaka. Shaka means branch. It made him just rise on the branch of Kavita to give Adi Kavya. That is the meaning of that. So why that Maduram Maduraksharam? I consulted many people also. Why that word is there? They initially said, okay, it's sweet. I said, why it is getting repeated? So normally when the people don't know that Maduram was a language, they said Maduram, it's a sweet one only. But when you have an awareness that it is a Maduram language, you get a different meaning. That's what I try to do. And if you are asking me why X did not say, why did not say, I have no answer.
no, that's
At that
not going to
time,
be my
people
question.
are only from Srinivasa, Iyengar, it started, I tell you. But nobody, expanded it further. And myself did that because it was found to be sort of convincing, particularly that Pambinkal Pambarium, because this snake, snakes don't have legs. Whereas this proverb says snakes have legs. That is, a snake comes here, immediately another snake also will come. How it comes? It is as though it is listening to the sound of the legs of the it is the other snake. That is how common people would have imagined. So this kind of imagination will not be there in all the places. It could have been common in some place only. That is why that some place was the people who were spread to entire India, Bharatadesha. Initially, they were just together. Once the climate became better, they started spreading. That is why that same language she spoke was known to the Rakshasis of Lanka, and that language was known to Hanuman, who was from Karnataka region, and that is Sita was somewhere near Nepal region. So from that itself, it knows in those days the entire Bharata Desha had a common language. It is possible only if a small group of people who have spoken that had spread, and in course of time, that language would undergo different changes. That is what has happened now.
Thank you so much for taking time and talking to us and patiently clarifying so many
It
questions,
is
so
fine.
many interrogations.
I am
It's a
very
pleasure
passionate
talking to you,
about
ma'am.
it. I am very passionate about it. Any other questions are there? That's all.
As of now, no, but as and when I get questions and viewers get questions, they post it, and we are finding some clarifications that we need from a
Okay.
historic perspective, from understanding the Puranas to dating and other things. You are going to be the to go person to come and clarify. I mean, you're one of the knowledgeable persons who can give, who has been patiently able to give
Thank
us
you.
the
Thank you.
answers and everything. We appreciate you taking time and talking to us. Your final words before
Just
I
final
conclude.
words I tell you because we started with yoga. For the sake of your yoga, I am saying there are actually three types of yogas. 5 year yoga. 5 year yoga was in vogue until 3500 BCE because we have Lagada Jyotisha which shows us until 1500 BCE means even after Mahabharata it was there. Whereas this Divya Yuga, which is calculated on the basis of the planets, that is the planetary combination can happen only within 4 lakhs and 35 I mean 32,000 years. That had 10% Sandhi before, 10% Sandhi after. Whereas the Dharma Yuga will have Yuga, Yuga Dharma, Yuga Veda, that is, it will change, and then Yuga Sandhya. When that Yuga Dharma is coming down, the Yuga Sandhi after that only. There is nothing before. For example, Dharma 4 times and then Adharma 0 times, that is Krita Yuga. 3 times of Dharma and one part of Adharma, that is Treta Yuga. In that period only Rama lived. Then 2 parts of Dharma, 2 parts of Adharma, that is Swabhara Yuga. Then one part of Dharma, 3 parts of Adharma, that is Kali Yuga, that is where we are. So, like this, there are when the Krita Yuga Dharma is reducing to one fourth, it will become Sandhi, Krita Yuga Sandhi. When that also further gets reduced by 40, that is 1 by 4, that is 60, 1 by 16 parts. That will be that becomes the Dharma of the next Yuga, that is Treda Yuga, and then like that it will also get reduced, then that will become the dharma of the Dwapara Yuga, gets reduced, that will become the dharma of the Kali Yuga. This Dharma Yuga only was used by us, which we find in our Thiruvalangada Chepet, that is copper plates and then Vairol copper plates, because they're all being they compare with you can compare with Ramas and then Cholas, because Cholas claimed ancestry from Ramas. So this is how it has happened, and there are a lot of things like Sattva, Rajasa, Tamasa, these gunas, and also about your crops. After Treda Yuga, crops start coming. And then the second bout of rains, then only the peninsular rivers started coming. The peninsular rivers were not there some 9000 BCE before that. Okay, and then when the Treta Yuga and all came, you start growing plants during Rama period plants. So that is 7,000 years. We have the botanical studies of growth of rice some 7th millennium BCE in Trans Sarayu region. So before just before Rama only this rice. So I am collecting the rice related ones also in my book. One question answer form I will be giving that. Then flora and fauna same like how it is now in that time also. I mean the climate how it is now from that time also it was there. So this Dharma Yuga in that it started in 2526 Kali Yuga. This is given in Varahamihira in Brihad Samhita. That is equivalent to when Saptarishis are entering Magha Nakshatra. That is one different calculation that we only know, we have to know. So, that Saptarishis are, Bhagavata Purana says when Saptarishis entered at that place, like Magha Nakshatra, Kali Yuga started. That is Nandas came, and then Kali Dharma started coming. That is Dharma started coming down. People used to ask me how I got that 575 BCE. They didn't give in Gregorian date. They didn't give. We convert. We have the Kali Yuga year 2526. We convert it into Gregorian date. That's all. And one final thing I'm telling you, in 2025, once again, this Saptarishis are going to enter Maga. So, are we going to have a kind of increase in adharma, or will there be a kind of betterment so that we will be going to Kali Sandhi? Kali Sandhi means dharma will increase, adharma will reduce. Kali Sandhyamsa, Kali Dharma they will reduce, that is, adharma will reduce, dharma will increase very much. At that time, Krita Yuga will come. That is how they have given the sequence. And when that Kali Krita Yuga comes, Vishnu Purana says Sun, Moon, and Jupiter will join in Pushya Nakshatra in Kataka Rashi. Whereas for the Divya Yuga, they join in Ashwini Nakshatra. So, like this, we have differences. Only when you go through the Jyotisha Siddhantas, which are giving these details, and the Puranas, because these Puranas talk about the time period, then only we know. Without knowing that, of course, Rama was born in Treta Yuga. But this kind of description is also given, and that tallies with that. Then we are looking at the historical factors. One internal historical factor is that Kavatam Pandyana is written in Mahabharata, I mean, Ramayana. That is when the Sita, Vanaras are searching for Sita. Sugriva says, go in the southern direction. You enter the Kavatam of Pandyas and then search. Kavatam is the second Sangam capital. First Sangam capital is Southern Madurai. Second Sangam capital coincides with Ramayana. That is the datable past that started in 5500 BCE, which I calculated from Nakir's works. So the 5500 BCE means some 7000 years before now. Only the Kavatam had come into Pandya's Kavatam had come into existence. So, like this, I just gave you one example. Like this, there are several examples with which this is historically also we are getting the same date. That is how a researcher arrives at a date. It's not that I take somebody was telling, no, I have plagiarized and then I have taken this. Even Dr.
I
DK
don't
had.
want to talk about views of people on you
No, no.
because I know.
One difference, okay. One
Mhm.
difference I'll tell you, mine is totally astrology based. Whereas, except me, everybody else, even Nilesh work has done, everybody else have done using the astronomy simulator. In my Mahabharata book, in the first chapter, I have proved why astronomy simulators are not useful. And
I've
another
read
thing,
that.
in astronomy simulator, you cannot get the Tithi nakshatras correctly. Only in the Jataka, that is in the astrology, in astrology only you will get it. That is why we are using it. So whatever we are using, these things are all given in by Govindaraja and Tilaka and other doubt. When I am getting a doubt, I have a friend who is an Upanyasaka, and then he will just get me the relevant ones, and then we will discuss. Oh, this must be there, and then this I have to get that. If I am not able to get that, I will look anyway. The original is Valmiki. I stuck to Valmiki. So whatever I have given is totally what Valmiki says, not a single word of my own. I won't do that because I wanted to make it totally by Valmiki only. So, one small introduction about my book. The larger version, there will be part A where the issues will be there, as you're telling the Ahalya Shapa, and then the Maduram language, 11,000 years, and then Tithi Nakshatra differences, like that. Then the second part will be totally dating, that is there in my blog also. It will be in the open for all times to come. Anybody can, suppose you don't want to buy the book, I'm not saying you have to buy the book. This is for interested people. Okay, they can see the dating there, and then they can discuss with me if you want. The third part will be just question answers, where I will be just taking up one, it's a simple thing. What are the flora, fauna, insects, animals in Chitrakuta? What kind of insects are such kind of animals still there even today? Then only you will know whether that continuity is there, because there is not much difference. That's what I want to say. So all these will be in the third part. So that is taking time for me, and please spare me some time to do my work instead of engaging me into mindless, unnecessary talks. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, I'm very happy to have given this interview to you, and maybe I was a little overpowering Please don't mistake me because I'm very
No, ma'am,
passionate.
it's
I'm very
completely no, no, it
passionate.
is completely valuable, and you have shared a lot of information. The reader, I
Now
mean, the viewers might take time to digest it, but whatever
they
you
will.
have shared is very relevant, and you've
See,
answered
now
all my
the time
questions.
is 12 night, midnight, 12, 12. But how energetically I'm sitting and then saying, okay, ask any questions also. That passion just drives me. And the very
Come to
first
then.
page, and one more thing, this is dedicated to my mother, Kausalya, who chiseled the Ramanama in me. I lost my mother at a young age, but before leaving, she just put Rama in my name, like Chuvarivali Edidikondeen, Manavali Edidikondeen. So he guides me, so that my conscience is clear that I am doing the right. Suppose there is some mistake, somehow Rama will pull me back and then put me in the right direction. I found that in my Mahabharata dating. I am finding that in Ramayana also. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you, viewers all.